Welcome to the fourth installment of the MS Portfolio. Today we're going over rational expressions. This one should be pretty quick. We're finally on to Unit 2. Let's get into it. Let's start with multiplying and dividing. Let's actually just start with multiplying here because they're almost the same thing. Multiplying is just a little bit more simple. What you're going to want to do is take your given question, your terms, and you're going to cancel out what you can. In this case, the 9x squared y, these both just become, or this one becomes a 1, this one becomes 3, because all of the variables cancel out, and 9 divided by 3 is just 3. Same thing here. We have 12xy and 4y. This becomes 3x. And the y's cancel out. And these cancel out. And here we're just left with 1. And so, when we're done with all of that, we have 3 over 1 multiplied by 3x over 1, which is just equal to 9x. And we state our restrictions. In this case, just y does not equal 0, and that's all we really have to do there. For dividing, we have an extra step. We start with this part, and what we want to do first is actually just find the reciprocal of, it's usually easier to use the second term, just find its reciprocal and then multiply them together, and then again we find the things that we can cancel out. So we get 2x and 1, and then these x plus 2's cancel out. So you get 1 down here, and technically a 1 here, and you're multiplying by 1. But still you end with 2x over 1 and 2 over 1. Multiply those together, you get 4x. And the same thing for the restrictions. Now let's go over finding the least common denominator, or lowest actually, but anyways, to find the lowest common denominator between two different terms, you're going to want to look, of course, at the denominator, and you're going to look first for common factors in the denominator. In this case, there aren't any, so all we have to do is multiply them together. And this right here is our lowest common denominator between these two terms. And the way that we would apply that, we will look at in just a second here. But if you had a third term, say these are being added and subtracted or whatever, you just have to multiply that denominator in as well, and it's not too much of a hassle. Let's look here at adding and subtracting. We only have one equation here because they're essentially the same thing. They don't really have that much of a difference like the multiplying and dividing do. And so in this, we just have x over 3x minus 6 plus 3 over 2x minus 4. And what we're going to want to do first is look for that common factor. And so what we can do is we can pull the 3 out of here and the 2 out of here, and we're left with 3x minus 2 and 2x minus 2. And from here, what we can do is multiply these together to get them to make the denominators equal. And so you multiply this term by 2 over 2. You multiply this term by 2 over 2, and you multiply this term by 3 over 3. And what you're left with is 2x over 6, x minus 2, plus 9 over 6, x minus 2, which of course gives you 2x plus 9 over 6, x minus 2.